from down under. It is our loose jungle juice. Day 2 in the I'm a Celeb jungle last night, and it's already getting fiery.
So what's the benefit of Brexit then?
Well, you either
for the
believe,
country, you know.
No,
so if
believe,
you are an average person from Britain, what's the benefit for them?
to know that we're independent, we stand on our own 2 feet in the world.
The thing is the intolerance that came because Brexit was about immigration. And I remember your poster, which I thought it was shameful what you did, Nigel.
What do you reckon the technique?
Well, 1 minute, they're in a heated argument. And then shortly after that, Fred was giving Nigel Farage a pep talk for his trial. So I guess that's what it is, you're in close proximity. So how easy is it to be friends with someone who has very opposing views, Janet? And they would have known that straight away, wouldn't they?
I think the idea... Yes. I think the idea of having a debate with Nigel Farage about Brexit in the jungle, given all the other things you're going through, is brave, but you're not going to get anywhere. Because Nigel Farage, let's not forget, he managed to persuade 2 million people that he was right. And, you know, he's not going to get off his hobby horse. And I think later on in the episode, Grace Dent says to Fred, you know, Brexit was his idea. He's not going to suddenly switch sides. I think it's really hard, though, to stay out, from my point of view, to stay out of an argument. If 2 people are having an argument, like me and Coleen, I'll go at it. I won't back down.
No, she don't back down.
No. But it's true. We argue a lot on air, don't we? But we do stay friends in real life.
Go out for lunch, and we've actually so opposite ends of the scale, but yet we just get on.
Yeah,
you know, outside of it, and I think that's a sign of good friendship, actually, that you don't always have to have 100% the same opinion on everything.
See, I haven't
and it makes it more interesting.
Yeah, I haven't got you eating meat and you haven't made me a vegan. But we can argue about that for hours.
And still go for lunch?
Yeah.
And still go for lunch,
yeah. Like still find someone that will cater for her.
Both, yeah.
Janet. You've been in the jungle, Janet, and it was interesting watching, you know, once this heated argument, debate, whatever you want to call it, kicks off, and slowly everyone around them started to filter off. They all kind of like, oh, I don't want to be part of this, and they all sort of suddenly wanted to clean the dunny out and do dishes and get wood and everything else. You would have stayed, you see, wouldn't you?
I would have stayed, and I loved talking to the people in the jungle who were smart. The worst thing is the people who are pretty dumb, the dim light bulbs, who never shut up. And luckily, the programmes that you watch are edited highlights, so a lot of all that is cut out. But that is the most soul-destroying thing. You're actually sitting around a campfire with someone whittering on about eye makeup for 4 hours on end and how they're going to cope.
So the odd political debate and fiery argument like that, it probably spices things up generally if you're sitting there with very little else to do.
Yeah, I had loads of arguments with Paul Burrell about the Queen and the corgis and, you know...
Corgis? How did you argue about the corgis?
Well, she had
at
some stage. I think the Queen had 10 or 8 or 10 corgis at some stage. That's a lot of corgis, even if you are the Queen. And all he seemed to do was go around the palaces mopping up the wee with blotting paper and a soda siphon, which is a strange job for a fully grown man.
Where are we going with this conversation?
She thinks she's back in the jungle.
I know. You'd stay, wouldn't you?
I'd stay and I'd listen, you know, because I don't call it... Well, for me, a heated argument is if there's fisticuffs or somebody swearing. I just call it a lovely, healthy debate. And I say, I'm not arguing, I'm just having a debate.
You've got as loud a voice as me when you're raising your...
But that gets misconstrued as I'm having an argument. I'm not having an argument, I'm just very passionate about what I'm talking about. But I'd be like, Janet, I'm not going anywhere. I don't want to miss anything. I don't want anybody giving me no Chinese whispers rubbish. So I want to hear for myself what you said. And maybe I could be a judge, you know, as... break it up or be that third person that doesn't kind of sit on anything.
You can be the third person and not have to say anything as well, can't you? You can still be part of it.
Yeah.
Another big moment, of course, last night was a naked bottom. You don't really see a naked bottom. And you certainly don't think you're going to see Nigel Farage's bottom, do you?
I never saw it.
Yeah. It was slightly hidden behind branches and all the rest of it. So it wasn't like completely full on.
Are we going to have a completely gratuitous view
you know,
of a man with no clothes
it's sort of daytime, isn't it? So we'll play it
more
safe
importantly,
just
it's
in case,
lunchtime.
but, that is what ITVX is for, folks, if you need to watch it back. But yes, more dramas to come, I'm sure, tonight.